Yo, this that guy, 904 DZ, coming right back at you with another one. I said I was going to do another show on another inmate by the name of Bishop, and that's whose face sheet I have up on the screen. Bishop, first name Richard. Before I left, he was at Florida State Prison. Looking at his information now, it looks like should we say, elevated his situation. He has now been moved to Union CI, where it looks like he's on death row. And the reason he's on death row is the reason that I'm doing this show. Because this guy, Bishop, is the last guy, the last face you want to see if you are sentenced for any type of child crime or crime against women. This is the last guy that you want to see. This is the last face that you want to see because he hates chomos with a passion. And his hate goes beyond just beating you up. He's going to kill you. If we give him half the chance, he's going to kill you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And as you can see, he's an older gentleman. He's not a young jit running around there. He's an older guy, and he walks on a damn walker. But don't let that fool you. That man's strong as hell. He's strong as hell, and he's mean as hell. Y'all may not be able to see his face sheet clearly because it's so small, but I can see that in 2018 he was sentenced to death for two first-degree murders with premeditation, and these murders took place at Union CI, which is where I was at, and I know about his murders firsthand. He killed two what we call chomos, and he was on his way to kill a third one. But the third one saw him coming and screamed. And the young lady officer that was in there at that time, she went ahead and got on the radio and called for help. And Bishop was stopped from killing the third chomo, but he had already killed two. So this guy Bishop is the last person that you want to meet if you go to prison for doing anything to a woman or child. He's going to kill you. And he's not going to do it in a pretty manner either. Uh, the manner which he unalived those two chomos is he had his weapon of choice. You call it shank, almost like a screwdriver. And that Friday night seemed like just a regular Friday night, a regular boring Friday night in a prison. He made his way to those guys' room. Now, they weren't asleep in the same room, they were in different rooms, but he had already chosen them to be his target. The reason he chose them, as he told us, was they were sitting in the day room, TV room, watching television, and he was ear hustling, or maybe he was just listening, because when you're in prison, you're always on alert listening to conversations. And those three chomos were sitting on the bench watching television, having a conversation amongst themselves, and they were talking about what they were going to do when they were released from prison. See, I believe it was two of them were scheduled to be released very soon. One was within the month, and the other had, like a couple more months. And they were talking about what they were going to do to children once they got out. So they had not learned their lesson from their sentence. They served their sentence and were sitting in there plotting on how they can do it better next time. Let me put his face up there so we can see it better. They were sitting there plotting on what they were going to do to unsuspecting innocent children once they got out. So Bishop, listening to that, I guess it just disgusted him, and he was like, he's not going to let that happen. So he made up his mind right then and there that he was going to kill them before they could get out and do that to any other children. So on that Friday night, after they finished watching television and they were gone to bed, he made his way to his room to get his weapon, and he stashed it in his walker, and he moseyed on over to the first guy's room. The door's open because it's not lights out yet. This is Friday, lights out not until I think like 2 a.m. This is about 12 a.m. Made his way to the first victim's room. It's a two-man room. The other guy, his cellmate, was not in the room. He was still outside of the cell room doing whatever he was doing. But the intended victim was in their sleep. Bishop made his way over to him quietly, and he took out that weapon and he placed it right through that guy's eye, his right eyeball. Bow. Put it right through his eye, into his brain, scrambled it around a little bit, dead, without a sound. I guess he would say that he did a good job with that execution. Finished that up, made his way a few doors down to Chomo number 2 bedroom. He didn't have a cellmate. He was in there alone, going to sleep. Bishop made his way over, but this time Bishop didn't do as clean a job. The guy woke up at the last second, but it was a second too late anyway, because Bishop still put that weapon through his eye and scrambled his brain up. But that guy had a chance to at least cry out. He had a chance to at least cry out to where other inmates in the dorm heard him. And the young female officer was able to notice that something was amiss. And she witnessed Bishop exiting that cell room and the way the other inmates were looking at Bishop. Bishop didn't care. He was headed over to that third Chomo's cell room to kill him. But the female officer sensed that something was afoul. She got on the radio and she called for us to come and back her up. She even went so far as she went to look in the room and witnessed the carnage that had took place in that room. And she really got on the radio then. She went to yelling and wailing and, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, ah, etc., etc. So the officers running. We really running in because we thinking that one of ours may be in trouble. And someone about to catch a beat down, a vicious beat down. But it wasn't her that was in trouble. Bishop is no threat to officers. Bishop is a pretty good inmate, considering. He wasn't worried about her at all. He's headed to that third guy's room who just so happens to be waking up. I'll be right back.